We have encouraged the governors that they must put these cultural events on different dates. The Ma Cultural Festival has been agreed that the first week of November of every year is going to be the Ma Cultural Festival. And it's actually touching the Ma economic block, which of course includes Kajiado, Samburu, and Narok. And that it will be rotational. You know, it began with Narok, it went to Samburu. This year, it's going to Kajiado. Now, this cultural tourism, as I said, it's very important as a tourism attraction. Why? Because one, there are a number of visitors who will come, and when they come, the cultural tourism becomes an entertainer. First of all, it entertains because it has so many components that can entertain. So it is an attractive element that even as the visitors come and sample our other natural attractions, they get that music and dance, and they get very much entertained.
How far have you gone with talks with the Council of Governors to establish more cultural festivals across the countries?
We have asked every county, because every county has got different communities. We would want a situation whereby every county, for example, in Kenya would have even a cultural festival where possible. But we are outlining the ones that are already there, which are happening. And that's what we are agreeing, so that they put specific dates that they can be able to celebrate this, and to make it really strong and focused, and work together with us.
How many do we have so far that are established?
I think we have about 10 to 12 already. We have so many other small celebrations, but the ones that are now major, and which we have asked the counties to, we agree on the calendar. We are almost agreeing. Of course, we have the Lamu Cultural Festival, which is really very famous. We have the Ma Cultural Festival. We have the Tobongolore, or the Turkana Cultural Festival. We have the Pinyiluo Cultural Festival. We have the Rusinga Cultural Festival. We also have among the Pokot, the Pokot Cultural Festival. And there is another very important cultural festival. It's just getting out of my mind. It's just celebrated by the Nandi people. The name is just getting out a bit. And then, so there are about 10 or so that are now already clearly branded, and they are done every year.
Very well said. But then how, in light of technology, how does the Ma community maintain its identity amid globalization and modern influences?
First of all, here in the State Department for Tourism, under the guidance of the Minister, we have actually come up with a program called Youth in Tourism program. And we are putting up an innovation hub just in this particular building of the Tourism Fund. We are putting up a youth innovation hub where the youths, when we launch that program, the youths will be encouraged to write essays, they'll be encouraged to take selfies, they'll be encouraged to create poems, they'll be encouraged to do some TikToks and so on various areas where they come from, on focusing on the attractions that are there. And they'll even have an opportunity to have competitions in terms of art and drawing and inventions, whatever they can come up with, that can be able to showcase what our country offers. And so through that particular program that we have put in place, you will find that we'll be doing a lot through the youth.
The Youth Innovation Program, do you have any timelines?
Yeah, this program is actually going to be a program that will run throughout. It's not going to end. What we have done, we have embedded it in the Tourism Fund activities, so that the Tourism Fund, because already they have some programs, including capacity building of hospitality staff and so on. So we have put it as a program that will run throughout.
So tell us, what strategies is the State Department of Tourism implementing to leverage cultural festivals for sustainable tourism?
So first of all, the value has been seen just by us doing the cultural festivals. Secondly, through the State Department for Culture, the Arts and the Heritage, they are also putting in place legislation to be able to protect inalienable rights of the communities, to ensure that this culture is patent, is protected within the law, so that people do not misuse it, and that it lives long for generations to come.
Can cultural events like this festival promote inter-community dialogue and peace building?
You know, the countries have just been using the cultural festivals just for their cultural identity, protection, and so on. But I have never known that if we do that calendar, people can come from all over the world. Just the way they come and see the wild beast.
Yes.
They can actually come. Once we agree on the dates, now like this month we have agreed, then the Kenya Tourism Board will now market it online. So it will be like a tourist attraction.
Calendar events.
Yes.
On culture.
Yeah. Very clear, and they will just come.
It may not fall within your docket, but it would be remiss for me not to ask this particular, issue. How do you think conservation standards and biodiversity protection will be maintained under community stewardship?
Let's say you are a Luo and you are staying in Nyanza. If you attend the Tobongolere Cultural Festival or the Ma Cultural Festival, you also begin to understand what the Maasai do, what kind of economic activities do they have, what kind of social activities do they have, how do they protect the environment, how do they conserve, and you can be able to learn and also replicate the same wherever you are. So it's really a kind of cultural diversity and integration. So the church itself is already has embraced the culture. They are also dressing like this, even in the churches, and dancing. And the artists who are singing the Ma songs and so on have also come up, and they have used that particular avenue to continue protecting and promoting the culture. So I am seeing that even with the digital technology, this culture will still be impressed. And what is retrogressive, I think I also have to make that clear. There are those cultural aspects that are a bit retrogressive. Like, for example, FGM, those that make young girls to get married before time. Those ones, we are all raising our voice together with the church, together with the leadership, to ensure that any cultural aspect that is really anti-education and is not really to the benefit of the community, we do away with those ones and remain with those cultural aspects that transcend beyond generations, and does not affect education, does not affect religious identity. It just promotes that beauty of that particular cultural aspect. And that's why we are encouraging the communities to continue embracing this culture.
As we bring this to a close, Bwana Pierce, what is your message, to the Ma community as well as Kenyans at large, as we look forward to attending the Ma Cultural Festival 2025?
Every Kenyan to be very proud of our country. In fact, I've always been speaking about it, and I'll keep on speaking, I don't know, until Jesus comes. I've been telling the media, as you are, CSR, as your contribution to the community. Just develop documentaries on the attractions that are there in Kenya, so that speak about them. Focus in your programs, create a program and do something. And the youths, when they are doing their TikTok chats and so on, let them go to, if you find Nairobi River has improved and it's now good, go there and post it and say Nairobi River now is shining. Or if you go to Amboseli, or you go to any other place, there's something nice to focus on. Focus it on, and people will come to the country. So I have all the confidence, with the support of His Excellency the President. And let me tell you, for a fact, that since His Excellency took over, he has really made it easy. You can see Africa, all African countries now, visa-free. They'll come to Kenya, without visa. The airport experience and so many things that the government is doing. The purpose is to make it easy for the visitors to come. So, this number we have kept on saying in Maka 2 million for many years. I can assure you, it is going up. But it cannot go up with our effort only. It has to be the effort of every Kenyan. Speak about your country. Speak about it positively all the time. And people will get attracted and they'll come. For the Ma people, the Ma community, this is an opportunity for you to continue being united to promote that peaceful coexistence, and to really come in numbers to showcase what you have, and to be able to work together and to show the Kenyan people how beautiful the Ma culture is, so that if there are some of them who are almost forgetting their culture, they can also remember and go back and call you to go and experience. So this is, you will be the opener. You know, if you can do perfectly well, I'm sure the rest of the other communities will follow suit and will also be able to enjoy their cultural festivals.
Very well said. A clarion call to all Kenyans to embrace what makes us unique, and that is our biodiversity, and culture and tradition falls squarely within that particular space. I'm Regina Menyera. We have been speaking to none other than Principal Secretary in charge of Tourism, John Olultua. You're watching KBC Channel 1.
Thank you very much for watching KBC Channel 1. My name is Betty Kiptum, and Susan Thuku is my colleague on the sign language interpretation. This is BizCheck, and for the next around 2 hours, we shall be having some interesting conversations. Our first conversation will be on matters of AI adoption in Kenya. Where is Kenya in terms of preparation, investment, skilling its people to keep up with the times of the artificial intelligence? In the second conversation, we shall be talking about how to ensure that packaging is done sustainably. But first, we want to get into that conversation on matters AI adoption. And in studio, I am with Ivan Gishuki, who is the Director of Software Development and Digital Services at the State Department of ICT and Digital Economy at the Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy. That's him on your screen. And also we have Linda Lele, who is an IT specialist and a technology consultant. Karibuni sana, and thank you for joining us. Right, I will start with you, Ivan. Just tell us where we are in Kenya in terms of preparedness for AI adoption.
Thank you so much, and good morning.
Good morning.
In terms of AI strategy adoption, Kenya is not left behind. And one of the most strategic initiatives we have done as a country is to adopt a national strategy, the AI Strategy 2025-2030, which is a roadmap for the outlining the adoption of AI in the country and guidelines in terms of policy and strategic investments towards the same. So that's significant in the country and for the country. Position Kenya as in a very strategic way of adoption AI. Thank you.
Before I come to you, Linda, I'd just like you even to delve a little bit into the AI strategies. Just give us pointers of where we are headed between 2025 to 2030 in Kenya.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that key question. In terms of AI strategy, in terms of AI, one of the key aspects is skilling to align with the emerging technologies. The other aspect outlines about investment. The other one outlines about adoption, sustainable adoption of AI without affecting the ecosystem. And those are the foundation of the AI adoption and in the country. Yes.
Right, Linda, let me bring you into the conversation now. You are in the field and you have been in IT for a while.
Yeah.
Of course, we know that technology changes on a daily basis, and we are in the AI space now. What is your experience in that space?
My experience in the AI space, first from way back, there was no AI. Like currently, everyone has AI with them. Everyone has AI in their pocket. We have smartphones. So AI is here with us, and we should embrace AI because we have it with us. And like maybe 10 years ago, when we just used to learn AI in school and we saw it as something in the future, maybe we won't reach there, but right now we are with AI, and we have AI now, and we have to work with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, he mentioned the issue of investment as well as skilling. I know the government has been very intentional in terms of skilling the workforce to keep up with the changing technologies to ensure that service delivery is done. And skilling does not only apply for government employees, it's across board. Let's talk about why it is important to skill, upskill, and reskill people in the AI space? I'll start with you, Linda.
It's important for us to be skilled in AI because, as I said earlier, like that is where we are going. We cannot escape from it. That is the right direction we are taking. And generally, it's not only IT people who are supposed to be AI, to know AI. Everyone in the whole market, healthcare, innovation, construction, insurance, everyone is supposed to be skilled in AI. So it's important for everyone, not necessarily be an AI engineer, but at least be AI literate. So it's important to have everyone skilled. We don't want to leave anyone behind, all the way from our Gen Alpha, all the way to our old generation. We all have smartphones now, and we can be skilled in AI.
Evan, your thoughts on that, skilling?
Well, when we come to skilling about AI, I think I want to bring to attention that skilling has been happening, but due to emerging technologies, there is change of the new roles driven by technology, and more specifically AI. So that drives the need for reskilling. And reskilling cuts across all the sectors, apart from the technology, the other sectors of the economy, spanning from agriculture, financial, amongst others, because the next driver is AI. So skilling, reskilling, skilling and reskilling is adequate. Reskilling is to make sure that all population in these terms aligns with the new changing trends in terms of the career, in terms of the working. And skilling is to the position the future workers, who are the young population of the country, to be able to address or to adopt the new jobs created by AI. So that's the position.
Right. I like that you've mentioned the new jobs created by AI. Of course, AI presents quite an opportunity in terms of opening up the economy. We shall be talking about that in a little bit. I'm informed we need to go to the Amboseli National Park, where the Ma Festival is happening, and our very own Regina Manyara is on the ground there. Let's join her from Amboseli National Park. Regina, what is the latest in terms of the Ma Festival? Are you enjoying it so far?
Thank you very much, Betty Kiptum. As you can see, we are at the Amboseli National Park. This is at the heart of Maasai land, and it's going to be featuring closely in this year's Ma Cultural Festival that is happening in Kajiado County. It is on a circulation across 4 counties, including Narok, Samburu, and now Kajiado is hosting this year's cultural festival. And the theme is focused on just blending tradition, culture, as well as a keen focus on matters of conservation. Now, the Amboseli is quite a unique ecosystem, and this is why it is. It has already been branded by UNESCO for its unique biodiversity, ranging from, unique elephants among the big 5 that we've had over the years in the country. And we have an elephant institute domiciled right here in this park, started by none other than Dr. Cynthia Moss in 1972. So any minute from now, we're going to be driving towards that particular institute to just look at, achievements that have been made over time to document the life history and the need to have coexistence within the ecosystem. This comes at a time when there has been a public participation in regard to how can host communities of these particular nature reserves, national parks, coexist and have it in a sustainable manner where they earn from a tourist, both domestic as well as international, who make their way to these particular parks, and how then this can mean, or rather can translate to them making a living, and how, as we are looking at matters of development and matters of rapid real estate growth, or rather population, what then does it mean for such areas? So these are some of the conversations that we're likely to be having in the course of this 6-day cultural festival that touches not just about matters of culture, tradition, but also has a keen interest on conservation. Now, what also you need to know is that the elephants that you see behind me are creatures, or rather mammals, that are quite unique. They are matriarchal. And according to records by Cynthia Moss, who started this particular Elephant Institute, is that the herds are led by the females. So, for example, Kiptum would have Betty and Betty's daughter running the next herd, and then an auntie, Regina, dealing with the same herd, or rather another herd on the other end. So these are mammals that are seriously matriarchal and have their capacity to remember. It's said that elephants do not forget. And what you can see in the background is just a sample of what makes Amboseli a unique ecosystem. The question is, do we have the temerity and the capacity to ensure that the next decade will still be sampling this wildlife? Yes. The records indicate that for Amboseli itself, through the collaboration between the host communities, as well as the Kenya Wildlife Service and the conservancies around the Amboseli ecosystem, is that they've not had a record of poaching in the last 30 years. That is quite remarkable. In 2023, we had an initiative run by the Kenya Tourism Board as well as the Kenya Wildlife Service called the Tembo Naming Ceremony. This was to encourage members of the public, including international as well as locals, to actually support conservation, where you get to name a tembo after your name. Like Regina, then I contribute towards its existence to just ensure that we have these mammals, serve a lifetime. As you can see, we are quite antsy. Elephants do not like much noise, so we are trying to keep it as quiet as possible. Before here, we also had a herd of wild beasts. Remember, this particular ecosystem is shared between Kenya and Tanzania. We cannot see how far the hill, or rather the mountain is, Kilimanjaro, but it has beautiful views from the Kimana Gate. So we will hand it back to you, Betty. You continue with the rest of the programming as we journey towards the Elephant Institute, where we are going to be just talking about conservation and later have a detailed report on this particular Ma Cultural Festival. Back to you, Betty.
Do not like noise, and we shall be following up those conversations concerning conservation in the Amboseli National Park, of course, ahead of the Ma Cultural Festival that is happening there at the Amboseli National Park. Thank you very much, Regina Manyara.
You're watching KBC Channel 1 and
to studio, and we continue with the conversation here on matters artificial intelligence. Remember that we were talking about AI adoption in Kenya. Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Kiptum speaking, mic check. Hello, hello, hello. Kiptum speaking, mic check. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello, Kiptum speaking. Tuko sawa? Apologize for that technical hitch there with my sound. We were just taking a link there from Regina Manyara, who is at the Amboseli National Park following up on the Ma Cultural Festival, and it is themed around conservation. And herself and a number of our reporters are on the ground, and they shall be filing reports from that cultural festival. We now get back here in studio, and we continue with our conversation on matters AI adoption in the country. I am with Evan Gishuki, the Director of Software Development and Digital Services at the State Department of ICT and Digital Economy at the Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy. We also have Linda Lele, IT Specialist and Technology Consultant. And just joining us right now is Engineer Dr. Julius Butime, who is at the School of Computing and Engineering Sciences at Strathmore University. Thank you very much for joining us, Engineer, and thank you for staying with us, the two of you.
Thank you.
Asante sana. Before we took that particular link, we were talking about skilling and upskilling, and of course, Engineer, yourself in the academia play a very key role in terms of skilling the next generation and also skilling people in the workforce. Please tell us your experience on that.
Well, it's quite an interesting space to be in, and of course very critical for our countries, and looking at Kenya and the transformation that's happening across the digital space. we are not yet there. I mean, much as we've made many strides, but the demands and the needs and the population and looking at where vis-a-vis looking at infrastructure and the reach. And so that's a gap that you see that still needs to be built. And looking at the grassroots from the primary, secondary, and then coming into the tertiary institutions. So this is something that looking at where Kenya wants to go is where the universities now come in to see how do we bridge that gap. And so that's where I sit, and of course interacting with very young people and trying to paint for them the panorama, what the landscape looks like, on where they can go and where they can plug and what they could go on to do. And so a lot of the effort is really looking at what's looking up ahead, and then what could we then do as academia to get them to really then meet the needs of what Kenya wants to do in the digital space. But looking at the digital space as not an end, but as an enabler for other sectors. Yeah, so that's where I sit.
I'll stay with you for just a little bit. We have had time in, time out that the academia or the universities are churning out students who do not have what it takes to actually do something meaningful in the market. And so there's a lot of training that has to be done despite someone having gone through the schooling. What is your comment on that?
That's something I am very passionate about, and we've moved from models that are around, we would say there's a triple helix, which is government, industry, and academia, which is a three-legged stool. But now we are looking at the quadruple helix, which is not even a helix, a quadruple one, but looking at government, industry, academia, and society, because what we are doing is looking towards society. So that means that as we look at what we're doing in the university, we have to constantly be scanning what government is thinking and what the industry is looking at. Now, for this particular conversation, it's now actively talking to industry to make sure that we are aware of what they're sitting on, what kind of tools they have, what kind of skills they need, and of course bringing that back into the curriculum and then training. But it's looking at the speed at which we move. Every curriculum will go through its full cycle before you do a review, but there has to be interventions that require that you then can make some quick changes before the students can be taken out. And so the things that we are looking at is what kind of training facilities do we have, and can industry put interest in what kind of facilities are there and work with the university that we have the tools adequate for training the students, such that you bridge and shorten the training requirement after graduation and then bring it into the curriculum. So that's the conversation we are having.
Right. Linda, you are representing industry here, and in terms of the talent that comes from tertiary institutions into the market, what has been your experience, and what would be maybe your message to the academia to give us a better crop to improve?
I'll give an example of myself. When we were in school, we are, it's not really practical, but we get to learn a lot of things, what we'll use in the future, maybe not in the front end. But once you get into the market, that might be something different because you get to experience like real life. But now I'm glad that they're starting AI early. They are teaching the students, and when they get to the job market, the new generation, the people who are coming into the market, they are tech savvy. Even if it is not the IT department, if they're coming to marketing, if they're going to HR, they should be able to enhance the industry and help them to automate like repetitive tasks. And it's a good thing that AI and IT is being introduced in schools, so that the people who are coming into the market are able to help the current institutions to embrace AI. And also for the people who've been working there for long, they'll be able to also learn from these young people. They learn the tech part, And also the new generation will learn how to run the industry from the others. So yeah, they're doing a good job.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I hope you heard that. Yes, Ivan, your thoughts on that?
To add on to what Dr. Ijia Butime said, as a government, the priority is to also to address the issue of inclusivity. As the technology shifts, the policy tries to guide on how we address the inclusivity of all the communities and the persons with disability, to make sure that we are all working together, there is no digital divide. Secondary is the ethical adoption of AI from the policy perspective to spur growth in various economic sectors. So the government has put a lot of efforts in terms of policy to make to create a very practical ground where AI and the practitioners in the industry can be able to adopt. That's positioned the country as a top destination for AI investment, and also to spur the growth for the private sector who want to venture into that area. And also skilling perspective, the curriculum, there's a public appeal for the curriculum review to incorporate all the changes, and the government is working with the academia, and that is the faculty and the student perspective, to try to bring into the visibility of what is happening across the world to be at par with the level the other developed countries. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's talk about something that you have mentioned, ethical adoption of AI. We know that technologies do not come with they also have their negatives. There are ills that come with it. So how do we ensure that as a country we are adopting AI but also protecting our people, and considering that technology is not something that has borders, you know?
Yes.
You're adopting it here, you can use it across the world. Yes, so how can we ensure that we are adopting it in a way that we are also safeguarding our people? I'll start with you, Ivan.
Thank you. A good question. And for me, where I sit, policy and governance structures are the foundation pillars for ethical adoption of AI. And one of the policy documents that governs that is the AI strategy, 25 to 2030. That addresses the key principles that need to be done for ethical adoption of the strategy of the AI in the country. Thank you.
Right. Your thoughts, Engineer?
Yeah, thank you. So looking at ethics and the landscape is that, of course, the value system you use ordinarily in your country is the same value system that you'll carry to technology. And so these are things that have to be embedded within what we are trying to adopt and how we are going to use it and how it will impact on our communities. So these are now things that we cannot avoid. So not now at the university, but our key focus has also been on looking at the whole person, and everyone there will have to go through a course on ethics and apply it to their different areas. Yeah? But this is now starting with the human being on the end who's going to then use the technology. Yeah? So you carry your value system as you go on the internet. So if you're going to think badly about things, definitely looking for how to manipulate a system. But if you're going in there to make good, try to help or make your business or try to do something good out of it, then of course you'll go in with that attitude towards the technology. So the same value system goes into what you're trying to do in this. And I think as most of the tech we are receiving is coming in from outside, we as adopters have to find a way to filter and sieve what is good for us, what's not good for us, what can we use, what helps our communities, what helps our societies, such that we don't get lost in this bombardment of things. Because looking at the tech currently, we are majorly on the receiving end, and now trying to build our own models and trying to develop our own adoption. So it's a very good space to be in, but a lot has to go on also in understanding what's coming at us and synthesizing it to see what's good and what's not relevant for our scenarios. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Linda, your thoughts on ethical adoption?
They've given very good points. I would say awareness We should keep people aware, especially at a young age. I believe in sensitizing the Gen Alphas. They are always online. And also the Gen Zs and coming up, we should focus on awareness and make sure that they know there's good and bad in AI. So we should focus on the good side, and they should know their repercussions. And as he said, we should have policies and rules and regulations, and people should be held accountable if they break the rules. So we should be aware of the systems we are using. So sensitize the people.
Right. For a lot of people, their awareness of AI is ChatGPT, you know. Maybe we can break this down in terms of what exactly can AI do beyond, you know, searching for things and recipes and stuff on ChatGPT. What can it do for the economy? How can it power different industries? Any takers on this one? Sure.
Yeah. So AI is very wide. It's not only ChatGPT. Most of our users know ChatGPT. There are different tools and platforms we can use AI. We can use AI to create videos. In the office, you can use, we have something called Gemini. We have Google Workspace, which can help you summarize your emails, write reports. And also we can use AI in the healthcare system and agriculture. And that's where we have potential in our country. We can use AI to predict the weather and predict the crops we are supposed to plant. Instead of doing the same thing every time, we can leverage on AI and make sure it helps us. So it's a wide range. We can use it for so many things, and not only to ask, what can I cook today? Yeah.
Right. Dr. Butime?
Yeah, thank you. Interestingly, I saw one bot that has been created to help in digital governance. So we're looking at, it's being rolled out, I think, by the Commonwealth. But so they created a digital minister of health who was able to browse through all the government documents and budgets and things, and now ably inform the president of what steps need to be done in the health sector to the dot in terms of steps to be done. So this is something that the capabilities of AI have hardly been tapped into. Yeah, not the usual prompts that we do for chatting, but there are many possibilities in terms of enhancing our ability to get the data, browse it, take decisions and impact on people's lives, and that way you harness its power. Yeah, but of course, looking at this also, there are other underlying things that you have to look into. Of course, the availability of power to then power all this infrastructure, and of course the investment that goes into that. But the capabilities for AI are not even been looked into in terms of what possibilities are there for what it could do, which is why a good understanding is very key to what its capabilities are, beyond helping students in class and helping. It can be applied to a vast array of areas, from finance, education, health, agriculture, the sectors that she names, that will then transform how we look at the things we are doing. And that is from an informed perspective to see that the decisions we are taking are then backed up with a lot of data that you can then ably support and hold simple tasks. So you're looking at what's the strength of the West compared to Africa. It's information, access to information. So all the information we are fed is from the West, most of it. And so when you start thinking through and sifting through, you end up automatically just saying, this is too much information, let me just agree with you. But you don't have the time to then go on your own to understand, synthesize, and do that. Now, AI can help us to do some of these things. If you're going for a negotiation with anybody, well, throw everything at AI and say, summarize this for me and tell me what I need to think about, what I need to ask, and then what are the key things from this point of things. So summary, synthesis, decision-making, these are the powers that could actually then be put in people's hands to now see that they are informed when they come to reach decisions and go about their lives.
Right. Evan, thoughts?
Thank you. For me, AI, I view it in two perspectives. At personal level, you can use the ChatGPT to just do this, the basic tasks that you can be able to do, maybe photography, editing, research at a personal level. But you go to the next level of enterprise level, where now the corporates comes in very strongly. And one, it can help in predictive patterns. Traditionally, you have to have somebody or a team sitting down there, producing all the data and trying to simulate using manual processes. AI comes in handy because it will reduce the human aspect to a computerized process, which can now be able to aggregate large volumes of data and analyze and give a prediction, or come up with a solution for a specific problem. That way, it relieves the same capital that human people are putting across to reinvest. So that's added value to the enterprise level, because the resources put to do one task can be retransferred and adds value to either for growth and development or expansion of the enterprise level. In terms of the medical facility, maybe medical area, we can use AI to analyze the challenges of in the medical field using predictive. Big knowledge, a lot of data can be collected across and be able to share knowledge between the continent on a specific medical area. In agriculture, it's also used very well in terms of prediction in weather. It's all over across. So there's perspective of a human at the personal level, which can be able to simplify your simple tasks and solve them within shortest period, not necessarily going back and learning. And at enterprise level, when it's picked at the enterprise level, it can be able to help and reduce. And an example is the media, where we are now. The traditional media, the AI can simplify on how we do things and record in the media fraternity. So I think that's a case in example. And there are quite many cases in all the sectors. You cannot fail to find one.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Let's talk about, as engineer mentioned, a lot of the AI tools that we are adopting are not built by us, Africans, you know. They are built by the West and they are coming this way. So I would like to hear from you the possibility of leveraging these tools to build solutions for our local problems. Yeah. We can start with you, Linda.
We have, as a country, we already have all the ingredients. We have the potential to grow, and we have the knowledge, and we have the knowledge, and we have the tools, maybe. So from like the way institutions are training our students, we can make use of that. We can, you know, AI learns from the data that we put in, and most of the data that is there is not from within, from us. So we should embrace using AI, and that will enhance our knowledge on AI. And we should also encourage young people to take up software development. That is where now they can build, because we have potential. We have like a whole pool of potential on what we can do with AI in our country. So we should I'm not getting the word. Yeah, we should go out there and try and marry the potential and the ingredients we have so that we can make use of AI.
Thank you. I'll get to you, Engineer and Gishuki, in a little bit. Let me just take our viewers to Mombasa, where the AIBK Annual Regional Conference is ongoing there. And we have John Lagat, who is the National Chairman of the AIBK. Let's just listen into that.
Data, digital partnerships, and new distribution models. This is not only strengthens the businesses, but also the ecosystem as a whole. While I'll not single out names in this particular speech, I encourage you to engage with the ones who are here at the exhibition space and with the panelists for an in-depth understanding. Mr. Commissioner, sir, the IBK holds a special meaning that we are marking 55 years since our foundation in 1970. It's a significant milestone of identity and renewal. From a smaller group of visionary insurance brokers in the 1970s to an association now representing 150 plus licensed insurance brokers, AIBK has remained the custodian of professionalism, ethics, consumer protection, and industry advocacy. In the spirit of continuity, we successfully launched our first industry golf tournament, which will now become an annual event for networking and strengthening fraternity bonds. Crucially, we have invited our own digital transformation by launching AIBK member management portal. This new digital ecosystem handles member onboarding, renewals, event registrations, communication, and governance, marking our commitment to transparency and efficiency across the association. It is our commitment to walk the talk, and we bring the industry together to shape the future of our sector. Mr. Commissioner, sir, turning to the regulatory and compliance issue, we continue to see a more proactive, robust, and forward-looking approach from your office. The authority has undertaken extensive sensitization on policy reforms and has continued to support the industry through guidance and capacity building trainings. This work is crucial. Public trust, market integrity, and transparency are the cornerstone of a strong insurance sector. If we are to deepen penetration, we must enhance consumer confidence and attract new investments, and we must operate in a regulatory ecosystem that is credible, fair, and aligned to the market realities. Your office, sir, has sustained engagement in supervision, training, and industry development, and we therefore commend you for that. We particularly, Commissioner, take note of the recent workshops and capacity building sessions relating to AML CFT compliance and the ongoing transition towards risk-based supervision. Additionally, your office has undertaken research and publications on sector innovations, especially around digital product delivery, that are important in steps that help the industry transform and innovate at scale. These initiatives position our sector for greater efficiency, credibility, and future readiness. That said, we are aware of the concerns among the brokers regarding the reporting requirements and potential penalties relating to the submission to the Financial Reporting Center, AFRC. The board has noted these issues and will be engaging your office so that we can seek clarity and appropriate way for the guidance of our members, particularly in light of the compliance timelines that you've given us. I would like again to strongly encourage all insurance brokers to review the proposed amendments by the regulator that is now available on the website of IRA. We kindly ask you to visit the websites, check the proposed amendments, and as a board, we'll be asking for your comments to be submitted to the Secretariat latest the 18th of November 2025. This will enable the board to consolidate and make one submission to the regulator latest by 21st of November 2025. We also remind you to take note that the regulator has issued public consultative forums notices scheduled across the country from 24 to the 28. And the one that will be happening in Nairobi that we encourage you to attend will be on the 24th of November 2025. Your participation will ensure that the broker's voice remains present and influential in shaping our operating environment. Mr. Commissioner, today also we'll be unveiling our strategic plan, 5-year plan for 2026 to 2030. As we gather to discuss the future of insurance, it is fitting that today marks an important milestone for AIBK itself. This morning, sir, we'll officially unveil this strategic plan and we'll be asking you to do it for us. And it sets a clear roadmap on what we need to do in the next 5 years. The strategic plan is anchored on 4 core pillars that includes professional excellence, operational efficiency, collaborative sector and engagement, and industry leadership. This plan positions AIBK not just to respond to change, but to lead it. I will touch more on this strategic plan when a commissioner at the time will be unveiling it, and we seek your support and partnership mainly on these 4 main core pillars. Ladies and gentlemen, the sessions for the next 2 days will provide the thought leadership necessary to activate this new plan in practice. On regulatory evolution and risk governance, the core of our conference begins with harmonizing regional and global insurance frameworks, tackling compliance with data protection, MLCFT legislation.
That is John Lagat. He is the national chairperson of the Association of Insurance Brokers of Kenya, who are having their annual conference down in Mombasa, and our very own Ann Mburu is following up on that and will be giving us a detailed report of the proceedings during that particular conference in our subsequent bulletins. We get back to studio and continue with our conversation on matters artificial intelligence adoption in Kenya. And before we went to Mombasa, we were talking about how to build tools using AI that speak to the problems that we face here in Kenya, in the East African region, and of course in Africa. And I'd like to throw it now to Engineer Butime, kindly.
Okay, thank you. So just to highlight some of the efforts that we are making as academia, and this is something that we are looking at. How do we then harness the power of AI? So elements around languages. Yeah, so realize that AI is built in English, but we have many we call them low resource languages that need to be incorporated onto the AI platforms, such that it makes it reachable to as many users across the continent. So Swahili has been one of those that has been highly incorporated because there's a good lexicon and writings around that and many speakers across the continent. But we're also looking at getting other languages and building a tool that can then make it easier to incorporate other low-level languages onto the platforms. So this is work that we are doing, and there are many groups across Africa looking at various areas and trying to incorporate health data and trying to enable that to be accessed in various languages, and such that one is able to prompt, same as you would prompt the ChatGPT, but in your dialect, and then get a response in that, and almost making it also context aware in regards to how you respond, not just a direct translation, but also giving you the context of the translations, especially if you're going to be in a sector that's as critical as health, where you need to, let's say, if it's telemedicine, and you're getting information from a mother who's receiving her antenatal care with a doctor who's remotely located, and now managing that translation so that there's no misdiagnosis in terms of the impact of what it will have. But these use cases are being built, and I would say we need a lot more uptake and support by the communities. We want your languages to come on board and get your dialects in there. Yes, there are people looking at how to do this, and researchers looking at how to then bring all these low-level languages or low-resource languages. By low-resource means there are many speakers, but there's little literature in terms of writings and documentation about it. We tend to write a lot in English and little in our dialects. So that means that we also struggle when we're looking for things in our own mother tongues. And so sometimes it's embarrassing to say my mother tongue is English because you've grown up speaking it all your life. But other people, their mother tongue is really their mother tongue. And so when they're interacting with technology, they will first take it back to their mother tongue, then translate into English to then now relate with technology. So that creates a handicap. However, when you look at the developed countries, the Chinese are developing these models in Chinese, the Americans in English, and so the British. And so you find that it comes natural to them to write as many things and interact with the technology. On the other African side, we are looking at coming from our own dialects, getting into English, coming back. So there's a whole mental process that the African has gone through, but it's an advantage also because you're able to think in various contexts in different languages, and that is a strength and not a disadvantage. Thank you.
Thank you. Your thoughts, Gishuki, especially in terms of government supporting these innovators who are coming up with these solutions as well?
Fine, thank you for the question. I think my view on that aspect is that government is advocating for what we call localization, local innovations, so that we come up with the AI models that suits our needs. The strategy outlines in one of the pillars was research and development and in innovation on the AI area, where we're advocating for development of local AI models which align to our customs and traditions. That way, it will be an inclusivity and we address many of our local challenges, rather than adopting other countries' AI models, which we may not 100% not adopt, but we're advocating for local AI models. That can be achieved through research, and one of the initiatives amongst many other is working closely with the academia, as I highlighted, to promote, to develop talent in that area. The other area is on the digital hubs that the government is developing. Those are the foundation pillars or elements for research, because in every ward in this country, we have diversity of the various languages that we have, about 43 in the country. In every ward, we can be able to do a model addressing the challenges of that area, using the local talent, and that way we can be able to grow our models and make sure that they are localized and addresses our gaps. So that's the position. It's very clear in the AI strategy as one of the pillars.
Right, and in terms of supporting the young people, you work with a lot of young people. You also work with a lot of young people, Linda, you had told me earlier. Supporting them to be able to come up with these solutions and actually access the industry, because there's coming up with an idea, innovating, and then for that idea to be taken up, there's a lot more that needs to be done. That support that they need. Sure, you can start, Linda.
Yeah, I can go first.
Yeah.
Supporting the young people, it's mentoring them. Yeah, talking to them, especially like in the IT field, we have very few women, but I'm glad they are taking up the course right now. And so mentoring young people, we sometimes have sessions to mentor university students and students in the CBC in high school and in primary school, and also providing tools for them to be able to do the software, like laptops and the software to use, and basically the knowledge. So providing the infrastructure for them to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of mentorship. Mm-hmm. Yeah, engineer, doctor.
Okay. Yeah, speaking of the young people and the youth, which are 60% of our population, yeah, so that's a big responsibility in terms of what we have to do. Encouraging them to adopt the tools well and looking at what they'll be doing in the future. Like I said, the technology is an enabler. It's not the panacea of everything, yeah? So we need to look at it that way and see we'll still need to find water, we'll still need to find land, and we'll need to find resources that we need to sustain humanity. Technology comes in to help us quicken tasks, make decisions better, get more information around things. So this is where we need to help the young people understand that it's not an end, but our means to actually something. And so you will still need to get up and work and do something that's productive. Much as AI exists, you still need to lay your bed. You still need to clean up. So those are things that AI cannot do for you. you still have to clean and leave some hygiene, see a doctor and get treated. AI won't do that for you. It will give you information about your health, more or less, but you still need to go to the medical practitioner to receive that. So there are things that we cannot totally do away with. And so it's something that we have to help the young people understand that, yes, tech is there, we use it, but it has its direction. And of course, the human interaction still is a requirement, and especially in the various ways. So I still need to be polite as I'm carrying myself around and trying to interact with other people, because that is now what it means to be in society. Yeah? Technology is there, yes, and like I say, it's a tool for us to see how can we leapfrog some of the things that we have been struggling with. And you can see the various adoptions of technology in Kenya and the impacts they've had on the populace. Yeah? So that is something that we would be very keen to see. How do we harness now AI and any other technology that will come? Now it's AI. Yeah? We don't know what it will be in the next few years, because the cycle of technology rollout and churning out is always moving. So you just have to keep scanning and seeing what's next. And so for the young people now is to keep that open mind to see that we are always willing to keep learning and not shutting out and saying that now we've arrived. We have to keep an open mind to technology and to new things, and keep that inquisitive mind, because that is what now helps you live through the different changes.
Gishuki, thoughts on that?
Thank you. In terms of support to the young population, the government is running so many programs to ensure that there is support. These joint programs where we have the private sector, academia, and the government. And that way, we are making sure that skilling happens, focus on skilling, and also sharing knowledge between the big tech companies and the startup ecosystems. So that way, it makes an inclusive society which is able to move together. As Dr. Butime has highlighted, that technology is transitioning. Today's AI, we cannot predict what comes after AI. So, but for us to be at par, we are advocating for a lot of research and development, and also a lot of exchange between the government, private sector, more specifically on the big tech companies and local startup. Is an ecosystem that need to work together to make sure that everybody at par. The other thing as a government we are doing is promotion, intentional promotion of the technologies and creating awareness, such as the various summits like the one we are running, the Kenya Software and AI Summit, which is coming up on between 10th and 12th November. That will bring all together all the stakeholders to understand the ecosystem, how it works. And such a forum will have the fintech, the financial sector, the government for policy, the academia to understand the academic ecosystem, both the students and the faculty, and all the other actors, the startups and the big techs together in one table. That's an intentional drive from the government to ensure that everybody understands this new phase and what it brings along. So those are the kind of initiatives that we are doing as a government to make sure that we can accelerate adoption and contribute to the economy. Thank you.
So as we come to a close of this conversation, I'll give each of you 1 minute to give us your closing remarks and tell us what is the future of AI for you, the future of technology, because as you said, it will be AI today, tomorrow it will be something else. Yeah, let's start with you, Linda.
My parting shot is we should upscale. We have so many short courses online. Whichever field you are in, you just do the short courses so that the train doesn't leave you. And people should know that AI will not replace you. We still need physical people. We are the ones who make the decisions. And AI will not replace you, but maybe people who know AI will have an advantage over you. So don't be left behind.
Don't be left behind. Yeah. Jobs are not at risk. You have to keep skilling. Engineer?
Yeah, in my case, I would say the opportunities that are presented by AI are vast, and that we are not even scratching the surface of what capabilities are there in the various fields. So there's a lot of people required to actually harness the AI potential. And so those opportunities I see for the young people and for our countries to actually streamline, create efficiencies, and manage systems better, and really work with the technology to improve where we are. So for me, I would say going forward is that we need to critically look at the AI strategy and now synthesize that has been developed by the team at the ministry and the government and really put in place. As academia, we are putting up a think tank as academics to now look at the AI strategy, and we'll be having that meeting tomorrow as Deans of Computing at Strathmore University. We are doing that, really try and see that we move as one, as universities, to see that whatever skills are required for the tech space, we are working and speaking as one. And that is something that's critical, and also working with the government to see that the pipeline then is created and industry as well. Because this synergized effort is very critical for us to see that we are not training in vain, that when the students leave the university, they're not sitting at home folding their hands to wait to say, okay, now I don't have a job, I'm waiting. Yet we know that we need these particular skills in the country, and we can harness on that population, such that there's a coordination of how training is done in the country for the needs that the country has. And that is now a conversation where we constantly talk to each other as government, academia, industry, to see that we are not doing things for the sake of doing them. Thank you.
Thank you. Collaboration and constant communication among all stakeholders. Yourself?
Thank you. Myself, from where I sit, is that I want to re-emphasize that emerging technologies, as the name implies, will still continue emerging. And today is AI, we have blockchain, we have other technologies that are there. But the foundational skills will still remain. The emerging technologies are only coming to enhance how we do things. So as we advocate for AI adoption and other technologies adoption, let's not lose focus on the foundational skills that we need to have. The software engineering skills that can produce models for the AI or for the address the issue of the emerging techs that are coming in terms of blockchain and everything. So the foundational skills are primary. The emerging tech will come and complement that, and those who match the two will emerge the winners. So for me, a lot of emphasis on the foundational principles of skills and values, and then AI and other emerging technologies will come and enhance the capability. So that's what my principle. And then secondary, I want to invite everyone to the premiere or the inaugural Kenya Software Summit, Kenya Software and AI Summit 2025, which will be held at Moore University, and ex-campus at Eldoret on 10th to 12th. And we'll extend this discussion of AI, software, emerging technologies, the ecosystem, the industry, and where are we. And we expect all the actors in the sector to participate in it so that we can drive this nation as one, contribute towards improvement of what we have, and also to learn from each other. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your thoughts. I think that is a great place to end the conversation. I have been speaking with Evan Gishuki, Director of Software Development and Digital Services at the Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy. We've also had Engineer Dr. Julius Butime, who is at the School of Computing and Engineering Sciences at Strathmore University, as well as Linda Lele, who is an IT specialist and technology consultant, talking about Kenya's AI adoption, if the groundwork has been laid, and what we need to do to ensure that we are at par with the rest of the world. We want to take a quick break. When we come back, we shall be talking about sustainability in packaging. Do stay with us.
Ugaidi ni tisho kubwa kwetu.
Na nikisoma vyema nitaishi vizuri. Unanitaka kanuna wazimu.
Kitanda cha kata kimekatika katikati ya kata.
Je, ni kweli kwamba akili mnemba hupoteza ajira za watu wengi?
Tukiruhusu mashine haya kuja kati yetu, wakulima wale wadogo wadogo walioandikwa kazi watapoteza kazi.
Akili mnemba inaongeza ufanisi.
Tunazo sifa mbalimbali za bembelezi. Zitaji.
Nyimbo za bembelezi huimbwa kwa unyenyekevu.
One moment of violence and one stray bullet changed everything.
Mdogo wake akaniambia, unajua mama, mtoto wetu ameumia. Akaniambia ameumia uso wake alishutiwa kwa tumbo na yani akashutiwa hapa ikatokea na huku.
And in the midst of this heartbreak comes a first of its kind facial reconstruction surgery.
This is actually a 3D printed model and we put everything back together. We anticipate that this is what we'll have tomorrow and this should be able to sit and fit well.
Join us this Sunday as we take you into the theater to witness the first of its kind cranial facial surgery at the Kenyatta National Hospital.
Nikiaga sai. Haiwezekani. Baba yako wapi?
Na swende ukajisaidia wewe nawe.
Nini?
Hii familia umekuamilia itakukamua iwache ukiwa dry. Nini mbaya na wewe?
Rodamza.
Shika.
Salale. Mimi unadai kuosha.
Jadi ndo huyo.
Unfortunately, our fears are confirmed. Hii si mwisho ya maisha kwako.
Zai.
Wina hizo tracks zake. You know, we need to get that consignment to Nairobi. Tukichelewa, zitarukiwa.
I'm working on it.
In West Africa, they are going crazy over this thing.
Is it legal there?
Na pawe na wakili hapo na witness.
Hii ni assurance kwako that this business is legit.
Rodi zangu hazitokagi kabla zijalipwa.
What I don't do cannot kill me.
Sasa hii ni nini? Sasa unapigia nani nduru?
Mama Jabali uko poa?
Believe me or not, she said she will kill me if I come in between you two.
Lakini Singita, wasema kweli ama wanitania tu?
Mlango wako nishaufunga mimi.
Kama ulifanya hivyo, imani yako iko wapi?
Je, umesema lote kunihusu?
Sasa hivi, itoe mkono yako Javali. Na akifa na kuua pia.
Ufai kumtongoza msichana mwajiri wa mwenzako?
Lakini hii ni ndoa.
It's art, it's culture, it's fun, it's attitude.
You can see with me I have this handkerchief. And is it really a handkerchief or is it?
My name is Kevin Kasioki. Please join me each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Smallholder farmers like Stephen Mutua may not be aware that Kenya has an estimated irrigation potential of over 1.34 million hectares, and that as of 2020, only 16% or 216,000 hectares had been covered. But he's doing the much he can to adopt sustainable irrigation practices. He has decided to move from the expensive and air-polluting diesel-aided water pumping method.
Tunataka kuchange kwa hii system ya solar. Tumeona iko bei rahisi na haina mahitaji mengi kama diesel.
The local innovation through grants from funders like Haifa International is quickly becoming a favorite for crop farmers.
Hii machine nikiassemble kama za hizi. Sasa hii leo kuna mjua kidogo kidogo. Hakuna cost nitaikaa kwa hii. Ile cost nitaikaa kwa hii ni just on labor. Mtu akunwekea maji. Hakuna cost ingine. Na ndaweka maji throughout. Na ina haraka, ndaenda tu pole pole vile climate iko.
The device itself is made up of locally assembled solar panels, controllers and a power source. It is then assembled in the field depending on the power needs of the farmer. Each solar panel is 550 watts, with a pump ranging from 50,000 liters per hour, with up to 5 kilometers depending on farmer needs.
This is called submersible. So it gets inside water. You immerse it in the water, and this is service pump. So it stays in the service, it sucks water to the pump, and then the pump pumps to the farm.
By using direct current or DC, when the sun hits the panel, the power is transferred to the controller, which then makes the motor to start rotating to pull in the water.
So what happens is you connect the panels here. This one regulates the amount of power this pump needs. Wow. So after this, now this powers this. Yes. Yeah. So you cannot operate without this.
As compared to diesel pumps, they are cheaper to maintain.
This is a 50,000 liter per hour solar water pump that uses the power of voltaics. Compared to its diesel counterpart, this particular unit uses less maintenance costs. This is innovation in action. Alanauko, Tech One.
Thank you for staying with Channel 1. This is BizCheck. My name is Betty Kiptum. In the second hour of the conversation, we want to talk about the state of packaging in Kenya and emerging trends. And to have this conversation is Joseph Nyongesa, who is the Chief Executive Officer at the Institute of Packaging Professionals of Kenya. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Karibu sana.
Yeah.
Just as an introduction, what does the Institute of Packaging Professionals of Kenya do?
The Institute of Packaging Professionals is there to build packaging skills, packaging capability in the country, to make sure that our packaging is functional. It can fulfill its mandate of making sure that we receive our products safely and well protected into our homes. So we enhance and build skills in the packaging sector and encourage networking, bring best practices, and support exhibitions that bring packaging technology in the country and in the region. So it is basically a skill enhancing and creating a collaborative framework between the packaging converters, users, regulators, so that we can form a coherent approach to packaging in the country. Mm-hmm. So that is, in brief, what we do, bringing mastery skills, getting best global skills, bring them in the country, so that the Kenyan economy can be supported, the consumers can be supported, the users can be supported, and the manufacturers can also be supported.
Right, and you hold very many hats, both locally and internationally.
Yeah.
I'd just like to hear from you, what has been the packaging history of Kenya from where we started and where we are now?
Well, the packaging history of Kenya, it has become blossoming maybe in the last 30 years or so. When we started out, we had, it was responding to needs of the country to export products, because packaging has to contain, protect, and preserve products. First, it was carrying out raw materials like tea, coffee, to export markets or local markets. But going further, packaging has been there since time immemorial, because things have always been carried, you always carry something. And anything that contains and enables you to move from point A to B is a package. It is basically containment. So it has come like that, and it has been moving as urbanization has been moving, because as people come from the countryside to come to the urban areas or to local markets, they need products to be brought to them, whether it's milk or tea or coffee or bread, they need it to be brought. So urbanization started accelerating the rate of packaging. First, we were just carrying maybe in baskets and so forth. But as we continued, then some different formats of packaging started coming in, like plastic bags, like metal containers started coming in. We had started having glass bottles coming in. And as urbanization accelerated, this acceleration became very fast. And now we need packaging that is not only supporting, to ensuring that we get products in our homes, and at all levels, even the ones at the lower pyramid, we have what we call Kadoko packaging, where the economy is very important. So as urbanization has grown and people have flooded the towns, and this has been the trend all over the world, so you have now to make packaging that will reach the lowest level, like what we call Kadoko economy. You have seen tea with small packs, maybe milk, maybe sugar, all forms of products. So this has continued to grow as a result of this urbanization, as people move from the rural setting, where you could keep a cow and have your milk, where you don't go to the river. So now you have to go to the market to get the product from there. And as we have continued to promote local trade, that is things moving around the country, we have needed packaging that can move from all over the country. And we have continued to need packaging that can move in the region. As trade, when a trade now starts, you have to trade from one county, one village to this, and you need package, you need things to carry your stuff, you need containers, and they must deliver what you want. So you need the package. Now when you are now trading in the country from one corner to the other, you need package to deliver the goods, protect them and deliver them safely. So as this accelerated, therefore the growth of packaging accelerated. Because when you are in the village, your supply chain was very short. You didn't need things from anywhere. You could do everything at your home. Now when we went into the regional trade, now we have to take things from here to Uganda, to Tanzania, to Africa, to the whole world. Then the packaging becomes more critical, because the packaging has to carry your product, protect and deliver it to an acceptable market in Europe. And we have now, we are sending our products to Europe, to China, everywhere. They have to be contained, protected, they must be safe, and they must reach when they are fresh. So the evolution, things have been growing like that over time. And they will continue to grow as trade expands.
Right. I think, of course, packaging is a very important sector. As you say, there's nothing that we carry without packaging. You know, I can't just go scoop sugar from the supermarket.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Right. And so we know that packaging actually sometimes influences purchases that consumers make. I know, for instance, that I have bought something because the packaging looks so good.
That's right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And so just give us an overview of how important this is for brands.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, let me give an example. This morning, and this applies to everybody, every consumer, to show the handwork and what we call the handprint of packaging. I took tea in the morning. Well, let me start from the time I woke up. I woke up this morning. I went to the bathroom. I had my toothbrush. So I used my favorite brand. And therefore, because that when I see that brand, I trust it and have confidence in it. So that affects my perception, because I've gone to the bathroom and I've brushed my teeth with that brand, and that brand I now become loyal. When I go to the shop, I look for it, and if it doesn't perform, then next time I look for another brand. Now I went to shower. I got my favorite soap brand. It is also packaged, and therefore I used that soap, and it has a name which I trust. So I use it all the time. So now I come to breakfast. There is tea which has a brand name, and which I always buy. And therefore, I say this is my favorite tea. When it is brought, I take it. Then I had the sugar, which is also branded. So you can see the handwork and handprint of packaging in our everyday life. Because this morning, I've encountered packaging of tea, I've encountered packaging of sugar, I've encountered packaging of bread. I saw some bread, because maybe for us who are privileged to have bread for breakfast. Maybe I saw my favorite honey brand. I saw some margarine. I saw some milk. And maybe I saw some eggs which had been safely brought to my table. They have not broken down. So these are the handworks of packaging that they reinforce, because a brand is what I perceive in my mind. Because when these brands are confronting me from waking up to breakfast, and when I came out, I saw that the transport system is working, facilitated by packaging. I saw the potatoes are being delivered, unga are being delivered. The logistics system is working. So it is all facilitated by packaging.
Right.
When I go to the pharmacist, they give me medicine that is packaged. So what? To go back to your question about branding and packaging, packaging is the carrier of the brand. It is what you see before you see the product. When you go to the supermarket, you see the handwork of packaging. You see the what we call handprint of packaging. You see the supermarket is decorated, it's beautified, looks marvelous work of art, which we take for granted. But that's packaging. When you go to the supermarket, what you see is, without the packaging, you see the supermarket glittering.
Yeah.
You see Omo, you see this brand, this brand, this brand. That's the handwork of packaging. And in fact, traditionally, packaging has been called the silent enabler. It enables the products to be seen and to be sold. So when you go to the supermarket, you see your beauty cream, your whatever, that brand is etched in your mind. You trust it.
Right.
So packaging facilitates that trust, and it doesn't just happen. It takes people to work through it. When you are admiring the beautiful supermarket, there's a lot of work that goes in: engineering, material science, brand design, art, all kinds of efforts have gone in to get that decoration and the beautification that you get that product. And it also demonstrates functionality, because that product reached there has traveled miles and kilometers. Maybe it has traveled half around the world, or even if it has only come from a neighboring town, it has been facilitated to arrive there safely so that it can fulfill its mandate.
Okay.
So we'll see that as the handwork of packaging, and it is marvelous.
Right. Let's talk about an emerging issue in terms of sustainability. We know that there are different materials that are used for packaging different things, and it's based on the need of the consumers and also the kind of thing that is being packaged.
Yeah.
From a packaging professional's perspective, what is being done and what more can be done to ensure sustainability in the packaging that we use?
That's great. That's a great question. Of course, as sustainability is a topic that applies to every facet of human life, and packaging is not an exception. As much as we have talked about the handprint of packaging, there is also the footprint of packaging. There are negative concerns across the life cycle. And as we have, when we are making packaging, there is raw material extraction. And that has a huge impact across it has the effect on the environment. Let's unpack that. If you look at the plastics, for example, plastic is coming from fossil fuel. So you are digging from the fossil fuel and converting it into plastic. That's an extractive industry. So you have to that is let's talk about plastic, which is the most talked about. So it is coming from fossil fuel, although there are efforts to do other sources like bioplastics and all that, but that have not become mainstream and have not been proven, and they are not yet very functional. So there are a lot of experiments going on. So, but this plastics comes from fossil fuel. It starts its journey there, its life. Now we are talking of life cycle. Because when it comes to also packaging, we are talking of footprint. From a professional perspective, we are looking at the whole life cycle. When this thing is extracted from the fossil fuel, what impact does it cause? What energy does it consume? What resources are used? Then this material is transported. It is transported as energy used, and it creates some impact. Because when you use energy, you are creating some impact. This material is used. And when you look at its end life, it is either reused again and again, and that is one of the things that we are doing as packaging professionals, is to try to keep it in the loop for as long as possible, so that you don't go to the ground again to keep extracting fossil fuel. So that is one of the contributions. In all these industries, there's a lot of effort on recycling, reusing, repurposing, and also reducing materials, because these bottles have been, if this bottle was maybe 30 grams some few years ago, it is now maybe 10. So you are putting less plastics in the environment. So the industry has been addressing those things, to ensure that the packaging, we are talking of what's called circular economy, so that the plastic remains in the loop. And as we talk now, we are now reaching a point where this bottle can be returned so that you have bottle to bottle. It is used. Then it is, when you have finished using it at the end of its life, it can be returned again and be reprocessed and be refilled again. This is happening in stages. Right now, the emerging regulations are requiring that we put some recycled content in this. And Kenya has been leading in the continent by making a standard for recycled PET. This is PET, so that you can use the material again. This recycling again, so that we reduce the footprint in the environment. So there are those negative. What the footprints are normally associated with the negativity, because it will say it's causing greenhouse gases, it is causing global warming, it's causing climate change, and all those things, you know.
Right.
And it is not only packaging, but all the other things are also contributing. A more important thing is, of course, you have highlighted the importance of packaging, especially in food loss and waste. Because if we wasted food, we would create more global warming and all that. And so there are concerns. We are concerned that we minimize the negative footprints, as they are normally called, and maximize the handprints,
right?
The good part of it. So we have kind of a balance around it.
Okay. Kenya was among the first countries to ban the use of the plastic bags.
Yeah, that's right.
And yet somehow we still have a very polluted environment.
Yes.
So let me come to the point that you had raised, that there's the individual responsibility that we all have.
Yeah.
And I'd like to hear from you in terms of how we treat our waste. When I carry my bag of shopping to the house, there's food waste, the organic one, and then there's the plastic waste.
Yeah, and
I probably mix them up in my bin, and I have no idea where they end up. How can we do better as an economy, as a people, to make sure that even at the point of household, we are sorting better and more recycling is happening?
Yeah, that is well recognized, and the government has come in with a regulation of waste management regulations, which require that you and me sort out our waste at our house. There's a regulation like that, but it takes more than a regulation to operationalize it. Now let's see the reality. In my home, we create, we are all waste generators. Yes. We are all waste. We generate some form of waste on a daily basis. So we generate this organic, we generate this plastics, paper, all kinds of waste. Then we put in a bag. Then somebody comes to collect the bag, and then it dumps it on a lorry. And where it ends, we don't know. Let's assume that we are very good citizens. Let's assume we sort out the thing at your house. You have maybe one bag for, and this is coming in, it's becoming low. You have one bag for plastics, one bag for paper, and one cup for organics. So you do that. But if the ecosystem is not prepared for it, so that when they collect, they don't mix it up, go and dump it in a dumping place, then we are back to square one.
Yeah.
So we need to build, in parallel to the consumers being enabled to sort out their packaging waste, And I'm sure one day we shall reach there. We know that in other countries people sort things in a nice way. Everything is sorted out nicely. And then the collection system is also sorted. It is going to separate the glass, the bottles, and so forth into their own individual. And then the people who receive, because waste is a resource. If we have organic waste, we could make fertilizers out of it. If we get these clean bottles in the industry, we shall make others. But it is an ecosystem issue. The regulators are making regulations. The waste management, which is a devolved function in our governance system, needs also to rise to the occasion, because this is where collaboration is more necessary than ever before. And we could turn this waste into a big opportunity, you know.
And on that note, what is the place of manufacturers and of course in collaboration with the packaging professionals in completing that cycle?
Well, the professionals have accepted the responsibility, supported by legislation. There is a law now in the country that every manufacturer takes responsibility for his waste. That means there is we have created what is called producer responsibility organizations. There is a law called EPR, you know, extended producer responsibility, where me as a manufacturer of this, I'm responsible for this end of life of this bottle. And how am I responsible? I can go out and collect all my bottles because all the bottles are labeled, or they have a label. So I'm supposed to go out and collect my bottles individually. If the law that has been set in place, if my bottle is got in the Nairobi water system, I'm liable. I have taken responsibility. But then how have we organized? We have said alone, we cannot manage. So organizations called extended producer responsibility organizations have been created, so that I'm responsible financially. I pay this organization. We have some like KPRO, PACPRO, and others. So this framework ensures that as packaging professionals, we are taking our responsibility, and we have taken responsibility at the financial level. What that means is the amount of plastic that I put in the environment, I pay this organization, and this organization is supposed to complete the loop to make sure they go around, collect this packaging, organize the collection, the sorting, and where this packaging will end. And therefore, when they end there, then the industry picks it up, because they can recycle this material, reuse it, and or if there's no end to it, it can be converted to energy, because this thing is energy. You can burn it to generate energy. It is fuel. So we need to complete this loop, so that we can do something, so that waste becomes an opportunity instead of a cost. So the industry is taking some action about it.
Right, and of course, the speed at which this action is taken needs to be hastened because of the climate change and the effects that we're already feeling, you know, as a continent. So as we come to a close of the conversation, I'd like to hear from you, what is the way forward, and what would be your rallying call to Kenyans, even at an individual perspective?
Okay. Well, my rallying call is that it starts with me and you. Packaging has come in response to a consumer need, and it is all about people. So if we wake up and say, okay, we don't want to do this type of packaging, then the industry will respond. You are talking about the footprints and climate change. We are now, and we have to look at it holistically, because the regulators have to do their bit, and we are happy Kenya is doing their bit. As you rightly said, the ban was...
You can take a second to just take your
okay.
water, no problem. Remember that we are speaking with Joseph Nyongesa. He's the CEO of the Institute of Packaging Professionals of Kenya, and we are talking about sustainability in packaging and of course emerging trends, how to ensure that things are getting to you safely but also responsibly. Joseph, are you okay to continue with your point?
It's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so of course the consumer has a big role to play, not only in the voting for the packaging they want in the market, but also for, as I said, we are all waste producers. So we also become responsible in sorting out our things. And those who are in charge of the ecosystem also make sure they create the ecosystem for the thing to work seamlessly. Otherwise, packaging will continue to play a critical role in ensuring that products reach us and the economy runs, and it will continue to support the national economic agenda, whether it is better the current government's move of bottom-up agenda, or Vision 2030, or export strategy, because we have to get our products out to Europe or to China. We can't do it without packaging.
You can't do it without packaging.
We can sign all kinds of agreements, regional, bilateral, name them. But it can't happen, because products to move from here to Ghana, you need packaging, or even to move from Nairobi here to my village in Bungoma, you need packaging.
Awesome.
So we need packaging. So we should maximize the handprint of packaging as we try to minimize the footprint. And we should look at it holistically and scientifically. You might say, okay, glass is the best form of packaging. Yes, it is. But if you look at its life cycle, you'll come up with a different conclusion. If you look at paper is coming from cutting trees. You look at the life cycle. You're talking of climate. So if we cut all the trees to make paper, which is very appealing, so we need to strike a balance. But the good news is that as professionals, we are trying to balance all these things to make sure that those negative footprints, climate change, are minimized as we maximize the other things. Like now, SMEs have to be supported.
Okay. And
they can only be supported by packaging to join the economic stream.
Those are very important pointers.
So an SME is struggling. They start making some ground nuts. They need something to put in. They are starting value addition. They need packaging to propel them to go to the next level.
Yes.
And as IOPPK, we support SMEs to ensure that they can also move up the value chain.
Okay.
Because if they don't get economically empowered, poverty is the worst form of climate change, because when people have no hope, what interest do they have in climate? If they are not climbing up in the economic system, how will they be concerned?
Right.
So
okay.
This is part of economic empowerment, trade, and safety. So we are happy that KBC is taking this initiative to interview us. You are also contributing to bring a balanced view that in this issue of packaging, we are in the same boat, and we try to maximize the handprint as we minimize the footprint.
Thank you.
So,
thank you. Thank you very much. I think that is where we'll end the conversation on the state of packaging in Kenya and emerging trends. I have been speaking with Joseph Nyongesa, who is the Chief Executive Officer at the Institute of Packaging Professionals of Kenya. Thank you very much for your valued company here on BizCheck. Sheila Yogo is standing by to bring you the latest in Kurunzi, Mashinani, and later Tamrini. My name is Betty Kiptum. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Betty.
Asante sana.
This old onsen in Gumma inspired the bathhouse that's the main setting for the anime movie Spirited Away. The story of a young girl struggling to save her parents transformed into animals in another world. The house and this red bridge remind us of the world depicted in the movie. The Japanese term Seichi Junrei, literally pilgrimage, means visiting locations described in anime or manga comics. The pilgrims delight in soaking up the atmosphere and even recreating favorite scenes. Hakone Yumoto in Kanagawa was a popular tourist destination even before it became one of the main settings for the hugely influential anime Neon Genesis Evangelion, which depicts a battle with aliens for the survival of the human race. The movie's official store in Hakone Yumoto has products you can only buy here, a powerful draw for anime pilgrims. Coming to a sacred place like this shows my love for anime.
Actually, a friend of mine came to Japan last year and told me about it, so I was pretty excited to come and see it myself.
Another destination for anime fans is Numazu.